Welcome to the Level Up Life podcast. I'm your host, Scottie Hobbs, and welcome to the first episode of Season 2. Today, I will be kicking off this season talking about the pivot and transition that needed to happen when the business I have built for the past 14 and a half years was dissolved and taken away. I'll walk you through some of the feelings and decisions that I had to make, and then give you 5 questions that you should ask yourself each day if you want to accomplish your goals and dreams. My friend, I just want to preface this episode and the start of season 2 with just saying that I'm so grateful that you are here. I'm so blessed that you have taken the opportunity to sit down with me or to be on a drive or during that workout or out on a walk and listen to some of the life lessons that I want to share with you as we kick off this second season of the Level Up Life podcast. I have some incredible guests coming on this season where we're interviewing high-level athletes, entrepreneurs, business owners, and just people who are positive role models all around the U.S. One of the things that I just want to start off with saying is that there's been some huge shifts in my life. And it's kind of interesting as I've sat back and reflected over the past month or so about the preparedness that has happened or gone into my life to be able to take on a challenge like this. And I want to remind you that you are able to take on any challenge that life brings you at any given moment in your life. It seems like it might always be an uphill battle, but the thing is about you is that you are able to and capable of overcoming any obstacle. It's going to be so important for you to embrace the struggle and realize that true strength, character, growth comes when you embrace those challenges in your life. Now, to start off, I want to just remind you guys that my mission is to remind you that your family is your most important work here on earth. Help you feel better and help you know how to earn more income for your family. The guests on this season are going to be absolutely incredible, but I want to just walk you through some of my situations that happened over the past month or so and just kind of walk you through how I dealt with them, how I experienced them, because I'm a human just like you, and we all have human emotions and experiences. And the more I have found out over this past month as I've talked with other people about struggles, the more people I realize have gone through things similar to me and that you might be going through in your life right now. So I was out on a date with my mom on her birthday on September 30th. That was a Monday. And Mondays typically in my business were my busiest day. And isn't it funny that we put on ourselves what is a busy day and what's not a busy day? It's just the day that I put most of my workload so I can get most of my stuff done on that day to start off my week strong. But it was my mom's birthday, so I invited her out. We're enjoying a beautiful meal at Sizzler. And I have this habit, and I want you to take this habit into your life of being where you are. So I'm with my mom, so I'm not on my cell phone. I'm not paying attention to anything that's going on with that cell phone. And as we pay and get up, I see notifications on my phone that say, Scottie, are you okay? Scottie, what does this mean? Scottie, what do we do? All these messages. I'm confused. I don't know what it is. I'm still with my mom, so I don't answer them. And I drop my mom off at home and I start opening those messages. And I don't quite understand what it means. And I want to take my nap. I'm an avid napper. And so I lay down to nap and I just can't sleep. My mind's racing. My mind is just running. Like, what are they talking about? I have no idea. And so I wake up. I don't even go and have my nap because I can't fall asleep. So I put in my AirPods. I step outside. I put on a jacket and I play what is called the State of the Union talk. On that talk, I learned that the entire business that I had built over the past 14 and a half years was being dissolved. That everything that I built with the team that I built and the sales that I built, and to help you guys understand, I built a team of 45,000 people across the US, Canada, France, and UK that did over 1.1 million volume of sales every single week. It had been my full-time income for 13 and a half years. And so as I'm walking, it's like I'm in shock, like I'm in disbelief. I'm like, this can't be happening. It's like a dream, right? I'm like, this can't be real. But I listened to the entire thing, and it's talking about how I'll have the opportunity to re-enroll as an affiliate, and I can help people with the workout programs. It's just they have dissolved the aspect of team building and everything that I built in that aspect. So I get home and I want to share with you kind of step by step some of the things and experiences that I went through to show you the humanness in me, because each of us are humans that experience life in our own ways. And for me, the immediate thing was like I didn't want to believe it, and my kids had just gotten home from school, so the first thing I did is I just put my phone down and I threw catch with my kid in the front yard. It hadn't really affected me and sunk in yet, and I did some videos, and you can find them on my YouTube channel with real raw emotion, like in the moment, like a day or two after some of those things happen. And you could go find those if you wanted to. But I started to sink into me. And I remember having a conversation with my mom and dad, and I was like, this is what it is. And my mom's like, what does that really mean? And I was like, well, we were earning X amount of money. Now we'll earn like, and I said like 50,000 a year versus what we were earning. Later to find out the next day as I watched another video, that wasn't even the case. It was actually going to zero. All the residual customers I had 30,000 residual customers. Well, customers, not all of them are residual. They're on some product or another on an auto ship. All of those after November 1st will go straight to the company and no longer to me. So even if I want to enroll as an affiliate, I'll have to go reach out to them individually and be like, hey, your order's going to the company now. If you want to order through me, you can order through me. And so it really is, in a way, starting at zero. Not completely at zero because I have relationships, right? But I hope that makes sense. So it was beginning to sink in and process for me. I cried a lot, to be honest. I felt deep sadness of betrayal, of like how could they just take this away, everything that I've built for so much time, and I felt just a deep sadness. But the thing that was bothering me the most, I didn't sleep for almost 2 nights, and that was on Monday. It wasn't even until Wednesday afternoon that I had my first real meal, because I went into survival mode, into I have to figure this out mode. And it wasn't necessarily for me, I need to figure out how to make money for my family. I need to find a way to provide for my family, earn income. It wasn't necessarily that. That was on my mind. But the biggest thing for me that was on my mind was the fact that I was building a vacation rental. I am building a vacation rental up near Park City, Utah. And I'm building my dream home here on the Snake River in Idaho Falls. And I'd waited so patiently, 14 years of building a business to do that for myself and for my family. And so I was just like, what? Why the timing of this? Why? And all of the kind of decisions of regret, like, why did I start building this house? Why did I ever do that? I can't believe the timing of this. But the biggest concern to me was those are two very complex build projects that I'm in the middle of right now, that they will both be done around April or May of 2025. And I just had this overwhelming feeling of what am I going to do? Because I have two massive builds that are going to complete at the same time, and there's going to be mortgage payments on those builds, and I have no income. And so that was the big thing. That was the first couple of days, was me just scrambling to figure out where we were at on our Park City build. I got a hold of our realtor. I found out if I could sell the contract in the build process or sell it at the end. And that was one of the first things I did, is I got that contract under contract to be sold, not under contract to be sold. I have it listed to be sold. It's an incredible 5-bedroom vacation home near Park City, and they're building the largest ski resort that's been built in North America in the last 30 years, called the Mayflower, that's like 12, 14 minutes away as well, and it's zoned for vacation rental. So it's incredible property. It's a 5-bedroom, beautiful home. It's like all glass on the front, up on the mountainside, fall colors in the fall, overlooking the reservoir, and then zoned for vacation rentals. It's an incredible community, and it's just beautiful. It's a $1.9 million home. That's what we have it listed for. So that was the first thing I had to do, is I had to get that off my plate. We haven't sold it yet, but I'm crossing my fingers that an incredible buyer comes along and takes that out from under us. The next big decision that we had to make was making the decision to sell the home that we're building right now. It's a dream home here. I put a lot of heart and energy into it. We bought a beautiful piece of land, 1.2 acres on the river. It's a private waterway off of the Snake River in a little community. And I spent like a year designing that home together with my wife and with my kids. And I would stay up late at night, just like envisioning everything that I wanted that home to be. And a little backstory on that home is we've thought for years about, because I've worked from home for almost 15 years, is moving to Hawaii or Arizona or somewhere just warmer. And all the kids love their friends here. We love the community here, here in Idaho Falls. And so we made the decision, because the kids didn't want to move. They wanted to stay in their schools. We decided that instead of moving to one of those places, we would build a home that felt like California or Hawaii or Arizona. We would build that here. So it's an absolutely stunning, beautiful home. So we had to come to the decision of we're willing to sell that home. And so the next day's conversations were with my builder, with the bank, even reaching out to people. And I had a couple people interested in taking over the project. So I was gathering numbers on how much we've spent and put into it, so that the possibility of maybe them taking that, purchasing it as is where it's at and finishing out themselves. And I'm just so grateful for our builder and our banker being willing to work with us in that aspect. And I think one of the hardest things, you want to like provide incredible things and memories for your kids. For the most part, our kids were like, "It's okay, Dad. Like, it's totally okay. It's like we love the home we're in, and my wife absolutely loves this home that we're in right now, and I love it as well. It's beautiful. We've taken so good care of it. We've been in it for 18 years, and we're extremely happy here. So when we made that decision, we were at peace with that. But what I kind of realized, and one of the things I want to share with you guys is, as I was doing that, I was like, okay, if I could sell the Park City home, I can sell this build, everything that we've put into the down payment I needed for my construction loan on both of those, if I could just sell them and get back what I have into them. I did some calculations and some math. I was like, I could literally live in this home that we have paid for, and I could live for 10, 12, possibly even 15 years without even earning any income. And I feel so grateful that we've lived in a way to invest into vacation rentals and properties and paid off things that we have. And I feel so blessed that we've lived our life in that way. But I share that with you because that was the beginning of me in the transition, 2 days, like figuring that out, getting these sold, coming to peace with selling our home. Reflecting back, I almost gave up to think of it, because I was settling per se. I was like, okay, I've done enough. I've worked hard for a lot of years. I was smart with my money. I've invested, religiously. I've maxed out my SEP IRA for 14 years. We bought and paid off vacation rentals. We have them listed and run by a management company, and they're making some income. And if I just sold these two properties, I could get that money back, and we could live comfortably. And I could keep my kids in dance and their sports, and maybe we could go on one vacation a year, and this home's paid off. We could just live off of that money if I just pulled it back out of that vacation rental and our dream home. Reflecting back now, that was me giving up. It was me saying, hey, you've done enough. Just like chill out, settle down, and just live your life, right? So we can talk about that a little bit longer, a little bit further, as we get into this episode a little bit further. But one of the things that I want to talk with you guys about today is just the importance of surrounding yourself and associating yourself with good people, with people that have your best interests in mind. After making those decisions on the house, Joe, I got to tell you one small story. I take my daughter to cheer practice in the mornings, and to school. I drive her there before I go do my workout. And I think it was day 3, Wednesday morning. No, that's 2 days after. I drive her to school. I go through the pickup line, and the cars are kind of backed up. So I'm following the cars along. We get to the front of the school, and the cars in front of me, the kids get out and they pull out, and I pull out with them. And my daughter's like, she's like, Dad, are you going to let me out? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And it just happened because I was just so overwhelmed and just trying to figure out what I was going to do. Living a little bit in fear and trying to figure out my next steps. I was constantly working on the houses and how to get that money back and all of that. And then trying to decide, like writing down everything like that I could do to earn income for my family, and provide an income for my family and do something that I love, that I dropped her off, but I didn't even let her out of the car. It just shows you how preoccupied my mind was. So that was just a little funny story about that. But the next thing I did, I spent 10, I would say hundreds, but it felt like hundreds hours on Zoom calls with people that I trust. I got on Zoom calls with a president and CEO of another direct sales company, and I asked them, are there direct sales companies? Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? Which ones are in debt? And I got pitched heavily to come join him in that company. I had worked with him previously. He was originally from my hometown, and it just didn't feel like the right fit for me. Like everything that he was saying, like I love him as a person, but it just didn't feel like I could connect with it. I had so many beautiful phone calls with people who found out that we were thinking about selling our house and business owners, and I talked to a couple people that own multiple businesses and came and looked at my house and possibility of buying it. One of them, looking back, reflecting back, he never even really had an interest in buying my home. But he's like, man, I've been in a situation like you're in before, like where I've lost almost everything. And sometimes you just need a little hope. And so like I talked to you about possibly buying your home just to let that off of your plate a little bit so you could figure out your next steps. And I think back on that and I'm like, man, what a like some people might look at that and be like, oh, that's deceitful. But for me, it was such a blessing because it gave me hope where I could put that on the side and be like, there's possibility of selling this. I don't have to worry about this right now. It's not going to be done for 7 or 8 months. There's possibility to sell it. I can focus on what my next steps are. So I had some incredible steps like that. One of the most beautiful Zooms I had was with my friend Stephen Hatch. He was on season 1 of the Level Up Life podcast. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that one. But I just really felt that he felt me. He talked me out of some things that I thought about doing, telling me, just some really important things that could help me move my life forward and make decisions that would be important for my life. He actually said, I wrote a post on social media and he just reminded me, and I'll talk to you through this podcast in the way that he talked to me. But he just sat there and he kind of looked back and I just felt like he saw me. And he's just like, Scottie, how blessed. He's like, I want you to like say that. How blessed am I for having been so diligent in taking care of the gifts that God have given me? How blessed am I for been diligent in paying off my home? How blessed am I for have made the decision to drive the same pickup truck since 2013? How blessed am I to have been diligent in investing in real estate and paying those off and getting them into a place where they're making income for our family? How blessed am I and he just went on, and it reminded me of those decisions that I've made throughout my life that gave me the ability to have more freedom to make choices that I could make in this moment. So that conversation with him was incredible, and I want to remind you guys the importance of associating with people who are above you or beyond you in life that can give advice and wisdom to you, not just in times of need, but throughout your life. So I'm grateful for people like that. He's actually the one on that call where he's like, I think I have a buyer for your home, because I expressed to him that was one of my first things I needed to do. And so that connection led to some conversations that relieved from me the stress and pressure of that home. So I think it's just so important to do those types of things. One of the other things, we came to peace with, we're going to sell our home, and the kids were on board with it. My wife was 100% on board with it. It kind of broke my heart when my 9-year-old kid, he's the baby of the family, he's like, but my basketball court. And like I made some compromises with him. I was like, brother, I was like, we'll sell that. I'm gonna how about I make a little outdoor garage in the backyard here, and we put a little basketball court in there, and we put a hoop up, and we'll put a heater in there, and you can shoot hoops in the winter, and kind of like a built like a shed garage in the backyard. And he's like, okay, we could do that, Dad. And I know not all kids should get everything that they want, but it broke my heart because I've included my kids in that dream and that vision of having that home. So we came to peace with it. It was Thursday. Every Thursday, my wife and I go on dates. And I know I'm missing a lot of things I went through, but I'm just trying to walk you guys through some of those things. Thursday, I went on my date, and that's one of the things that that why part of my mission is your family is your most important work on earth, and to help you remind you that that family is the most important. And I'm just so grateful to have a wife that supports me, that believes in me, that is a sounding board to talk through. Even though we are in the depth of this challenge, she was there for me. We stayed true to our Thursdays. Every Thursday we go on a date from like noon to 5. We go out to eat and we spend time together. We went out, and the first place we went was to that dream home, and we walked through it, and like I was at peace letting it go, and they had just finished the texturing of the sheetrock, and I was with at peace of knowing that some person, some family was going to enjoy this beautiful home. And so it kind of transitioned from this was our dream home to this is an incredible project that we're building for somebody. But I'm not going to lie, as I walked through that home, I felt like a knife was in my chest. Like I just felt pain, like, oh, I've dreamed of this for so long. And so we continued our date, and then the most important thing happened is we went on a walk. I texted a friend named Justin. Justin was on my podcast last year as well, I believe back in April. His name is Justin Prince. I got on a phone call with him and I was like, hey, I know you're launching your company. I have some questions for you. And we talked for about 45 minutes on speakerphone. I was in the truck with Gabby, and he told me about his product. He told me about the science behind them. I had known about them before from conversations, but as we talked, I was like, he's like, you could go do anything you want. You built skills over the past 15 years that you could go do whatever you want. And I talked to him, I wanted to do some high level coaching, maybe some high performance coaching, certified with Brendan Bouchard, and do some high ticket consulting. I have the ability to do those things. And he's like, yes, you can do all of those things. And some of those things might still be in your future, but he's like, but my friend, you have a gift for this type of work. You have a gift for breathing life into people, for serving people, for helping them get healthy and fit and building good habits and teaching them how to use their life story to impact and help other people change their lives and help them know how to make more income for their family. He's like, you have a gift for this. Don't let it go to waste. And so he had me at like, I was like 0%. I wanted to ever do a direct sales company again, but he got me to 70%. And that conversation was good. Gabby and I then went on like a 2-hour walk along the river across from our dream home build. We could see it across the river. And we made a list of the pros and the cons. And the pros heavily outweighed the cons for me to build another team and to get back into the work that I'd done for the past 15 years. And so after we were done, I texted my mom and dad if we could go there, and my dad in our religion has what's called the priesthood. And I was like, Dad, can I get a father's blessing from you? Um, I had talked to my wife. Right before we went there, I texted him. I was like, can we go there? And I was like, can I come get a blessing, and can we talk with my mom and my dad? And we texted him that we could come over. We're going to come in like 30 minutes. Gabby and I made um, this list of the positives and the pros and the cons. And like I said, the pros heavily outweighed the cons. And we get to my dad's, and I get a blessing from my dad. And I'm at like, after the pros and cons, I'm like, I went from like 70% to like 85%. And I'm talking to my dad about my mom and dad about the pros and the cons. And I think one of the biggest things that was like so hard on me is at one point, and we'll back around to this later, is I'm going to help you guys discover 5 questions to help you change your life, or to ask yourself daily to change your life, is like I know my parents don't expect anything from me. My in-laws don't expect anything from me, but I retired my parents 10 years ago, and we've been helping my in-laws and just using our income in a way to bless other people when needed. And I remember just times my parents feeling nervous about retirement and how much is in their retirement account. And I just remember being out hunting with my dad and saying like, hey, like do whatever you feel is best, but don't ever worry about money. Like I will make sure that you guys are taken care of no matter what happens with your retirement. And so it was really hard for me to let them know. And like I said, they don't expect anything from me but to be like, hey, I can't just help anymore right now for the meantime until I get things figured out. And obviously they're like, it's okay. Like, we don't ever expect anything from you. And the same with Gabby's parents. But for me, that impacted me deeply. It hit me at a deep level. And so I have this conversation with my parents, and my dad's like, son, it's like, you need to do this work. And it's like, you need to do this work. And so he's like, I look forward every day to seeing your Instagram. You know, you get on your video and you're like, hey, I just did my workout, my beautiful people, good morning. And he's like, he's like, I want to see that. He's like, he's like, I've seen you come more alive doing this work. And sorry, don't you, when you talk about your parents or people you love, you just get emotional? And he's like, you know, I'm doing this punching mixed martial arts workout every single day because of you, because of the work you did. He's like, you helped me build healthy habits. Your mom is dancing, doing a dance workout every day because of you. He's like, you need to do this type of work. And that was it. I went home and I enrolled to start my business, and I got to work. So much peace came upon me that night when I made a decision to get to work. When I knew exactly what I could do next to build, that's the rest. Like, I always have people ask me the question, like, when did you know you were going to make it in business? And for me, it's always been when I make the decision. And so, like, people ask me, like, how are you so confident in what you're doing? It's because I've made a decision. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to learn and to grow and to become capable of achieving the goals that I set for myself. And I have a mission and a purpose aligned with what we're doing as we explore this field of bioactive precision peptides. And I'm so fired up, so pumped about it. So I got to work, right? A funny thing earlier that day happened, just to show you where my mind was, kind of in a mess in that space. My my wife, we're in a text thread with with my daughters that have phones, and she's like, "Hey, we need the car to go. We need the car to go to Salt Lake on Saturday, or to go to Utah on Saturday." I text in the thread. I'm like, "Who's going to Who's going to Utah?" And my wife's like, "We have a cruise." And so it's kind of funny because there was a reward trip for the top leaders of that company that we got dissolved from on that Saturday, and I completely spaced that I had a trip and a cruise to go on. And so it just kind of shows you where my mind was at, and I didn't want to go on that trip. Once I realized, I was like, man, I don't even want to go. Like, we're not building that company anymore. I'd rather be here with my family. I'd rather here figuring out these solutions and these problems. But we went on the trip, and it was such a blessing. I worked my butt off, and I'm going to share some tips with you that have helped me become successful over the years. I don't wait until I know everything. Once I know what I want to do and I set some goals, I'm not afraid to be seen starting small. I take massive action without making sure all the systems are in place, and then I figure it out as I go. And I think too many times in life, you sit back and you wait for the perfect moment or the perfect system or the perfect tools or for someone to tell you what to do. And no one's going to come save you. You have to take action and take massive action, whether it be messy or not, towards those goals. And so we went on the cruise. It was beautiful. The deep message I want to give to you guys that want to build a business or want to do something extraordinary with your life is the importance of being where you are, of communicating with your spouse and your loved ones about your goals, what you want to accomplish, and then being true to that and being where you are. And what I mean by being where you are is if you're working on your business, that you're working on your business. You're not distracted with social media. You're not trying to be with your kids and your business. When you're with your kids, you're not on your phone trying to do your business. You're as focused and as present with your kids as you can with your phone put away. Same thing with your wife. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I started building a business, well, almost 15 years ago, is my wife's love language is quality time. And we'd sit down to watch a movie on Netflix, or we'd rent a red box. I know that dates us a little bit now since those are gone. But I would sit there watching a movie with her, and I would be like looking at my phone for prospects to answer my inbox or a comment on my post. And that was damaging to my relationship. So I'm grateful for a wife that called me out on those things, and then me course correcting and making sure that I would put my phone in a different room and that I was present with her when I was with her. Because we didn't get to see each other that much. When I first started building my business, I worked 12-hour days from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. My wife would go to work at 3. She would drop the kids off at the babysitter. I would pick them up. At 5, I would have them alone. She would be at work from 3 to 11 p.m. I'd have my 3 little girls when I started, ages 4, 2, and 6 weeks old. I would feed them, bathe them, put them in the bath, burp them, put them in bed, do all that stuff, and then I would work on my business every single night. And 1 or 2 nights a week, my wife wouldn't have work. And on those nights, instead of working 3 hours, I would work an hour and a half, and then I'd watch like an hour and a half movie with her. So it was so important that when I watched that movie with her that 1 night a week or 2 nights a week, that I actually saw her, that I put my phone away, and that I was present with her. So make sure that you communicate with your wife. So as we go on that cruise, it was such a beautiful moment because my kids knew I was gone. They were in great hands with my parents, and I had the opportunity to just get to work, to enjoy some quality time with my wife and work. And so we ended up having an incredible launch as we launched our business, but it's not due to luck. It was me working and grinding. I would get up every morning, I would do my workout, and then I would work like 2 hours. Then my wife would wake up, I'd go to breakfast with her, I'd be unplugged from my phone, we'd eat breakfast, we'd come back to the room. I would sit down, I'd work like another hour, hour and a half while she would do her workout and do her morning routine. She's so good at reading her scriptures and her personal development every day. So I'd sit on the bed next to her, I'd work, she'd do her routine, she'd do her workout, and then I'd put my phone away. We would go out, then we'd go to dinner, and then we go to 2 or 3 shows and be in by like 10 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., she knew, we communicated, I would work. 10 p.m. till like 1, 2 in the morning, I was working on grinding my business. Guys, when an opportunity knocks, you know who answers? Work. It's not just going to happen to you. It's not going to just happen to me. It takes work. But I share that with you to make sure that you are communicating with your spouse as you are building a business. And so there's that open communication. So, for example, tonight, as we're having our first team event local for our business, we're going axe throwing. So I had to communicate to my wife that, hey, I had to ask her first, is it okay that I do this tonight from 8:30 to 9:30, be home around 10? She says yes. So we have that open communication. I'm also training a compensation model for our Latino market. I speak fluent Spanish, so I'm going to be talking to mi gente tonight. And I had to ask her, I had to say, hey, is it okay if I do a training tonight? Typically, I know I don't do trainings in the evening, but can I do a training tonight at 6 p.m.? This is when our Spanish leader can host and when most of them can come. She says, yes, okay. But the important thing is communication. So remember the communication as you get started on any journey that you're on. So guys, that's kind of the emotions that I went through. I'm going to tell you I'll probably tell you some more stories, but when I was on that cruise, I had a dream. I tend to have a lot of dreams, and guys, this is what happens. You have great things come to mind when you slow down. I think too often you are manipulated by hundreds of millions of dollars in extremely talented people that are paid to distract you with things that give you dopamine and that dopamine drop on social media. The ads, your For You page. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars are put into distracting you and getting your attention. So if you can get rid of that, those vices of scrolling social media, being distracted, and you just slow down and you just think, or you meditate, or you go on a walk without having to entertain yourself, or you sit on the couch without having to entertain yourself, or you wake up and you read and you meditate and you journal. Great ideas come to you. Have everything inside of you to accomplish everything that you want. All of the great ideas, like you are one of God's children. So everything that you are capable of achieving is inside of you if you slow down enough to listen to it, to write it down, and then to take action on those things. So I have this dream, and just so you know, one of my habits to lead into this dream, every single day, I have my journal right here. I sit down. I listen to my Growth Day app called the Daily Fire, and on Mondays I listen to my Monday Motivation with Ed Milet on there. I use the journal prompt in there, and then I physically pull out my notebook and I write out just something that I'm grateful for or something I'm feeling, and then I write out my vision for my life. And my vision always talks about that we live in our dream home and it's paid off. Right? And I live in this dream home and it's paid off, and I see my daughter's getting married in the backyard, and beautiful reception in the RV garage, and I see them walk out the walkout basement, sliding doors. While I'm walking my daughters down the aisle with the big arch, flowers, and the river in the backdrop. I visualize that. I don't just visualize it, I write it down every single day. And I talk about how we have an abundance of income and I'm able to use my time to serve and help people and to help family members financially when needed, and that I can use my time to go out and do service and contribute to charities and all of these beautiful things. And I have the ability to work from my home and do work that I love and be present with my family. So I write this vision out every day, and then I write specific goals. And I do that every day. So I was kind of confused when everything happened on September 30th, in those days that I talked about where I was kind of lost and confused and hurt and feeling betrayed and lost and scared. I felt confused because I'm like, but what about my vision and my goals that I've been writing out? And so I have this dream on the cruise. I wake up and my wife's still asleep because I get up earlier to work out, and I'm doing my morning routine. And I'm sitting in there, these little blue chairs. There's two blue chairs next in this cruise suite next to the bed. It's pitch dark in there. I'm sitting in the chair, and I had had a dream that night. And in that dream, I was sitting on the back deck with my wife on these chairs, and we're overlooking this beautiful green grass flat backyard with the water and the reflection off the water, and it's just beautiful. And there's even like a Hispanic lady that is like helping us around the house, and she's like a maid, and she lives with us, and she helps us around the family, and she feels so grateful to be a part of our lives, and she's like part of our family. And my wife and I are, this is a dream, remember? And we're just talking about how we have grandkids, and we're talking about in this dream how beautiful this life is that we created, and how beautiful this space is in this home that we have. And so I wake up from the dream, and I don't remember much other than seeing grandkids running in the grass in the backyard, and this lady on the on the back on the deck with us. And so I'm like, as I'm sitting in that chair in the dark, I'm like, what does this mean? And I just had this thought come over me, a feeling that I feel is from God or from my inner spirit, my inner wisdom, that just said, I just wanted to test you and make sure that material possessions and things in this life that you were not tied to them, and that you were willing to let them go. Like you being willing to sell your house, the vacation rental you're building in your home. I was testing you to see if you would be willing to let go of material possessions, to see if they were not important to you, to see if you were true to your mission of your family being your most important thing on earth. And so that was a moment for me where I realized that I had kind of given up. Not given up, like it was a good lesson for me to realize, okay, I'm willing to give up anything material. But that it was also a reminder to me on the flip side of like, it's okay to be ambitious. It's okay to have something to wake up that drives you, that you want to work towards and accomplish. You need something to wake up. God doesn't want you to sit for 15 years idly and live off of the income that you've created, and not serve and not do your best to grow yourself and add value to others. So by all means, go out and set goals and visions for yourself and go out and work hard. And so that's where I continued writing in my, like, so right now we're at a point now, we're a month into the thing. Like I had my builder on pause. I was like, pause the build. We need to figure out what we're going to do. And while we're on that cruise later that day, I texted him and I said, hey, just continue building this beautiful home. He's like, we're going to put everything we have into this to make this the most beautiful home, as if we're going to live in it. And then when we get to the end, I feel comfortable as I'm building this business and as I sell that vacation rental, that we can make the decision when it's done, if we feel comfortable staying here, if that's what God's plan for us is, or we'll be comfortable holding on to it for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever it is, to find a beautiful family or a buyer for that home, if that's the case. So that's where we're at. I've had people ask me like, I thought you were selling the home. That's what that's the journey we're on with our dream home. So every single day, when I sit down and I journal about my daughter's weddings in that backyard and the beautiful memories that we're going to create for that family. But I also know fully well that I'm open to listening to God's calling on my life and what decisions to make as we move forward with that. So, what I want you guys to know as we go through this, I'm going to go through 5 questions to help you that you can ask yourself every single day so that you can live an extraordinary life. And I care deeply that you succeed in your life and have a healthy life full of positive emotions and positive relationships. I want that so deeply for you. I wish we were sitting across the coffee table from each other, or out to lunch together, and we could just look each other in the eyes, and I could tell you, you are capable of doing anything in this life. You have everything inside of you already if you're just willing to believe in yourself. My friends, there's enough people out there. There's enough people that are against you. Don't be against yourself. Like, don't let the inner critic inside of you keep you from going after what you know that you're capable of. And so, as we go through these things, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. The first question is, what is your why? What is your reason for getting up and for striving? If you just have some simple goals of an income number, or even if my goal was just to have this beautiful dream home, and it's a goal and it's a financial number of like, I need to make X amount of dollars to pay for this home, or your goal is I need X amount of dollars to achieve this, or to pay off my house, or go to Disney World or Disneyland with my kids, whatever it is, you need to discover what your why is and what the reason is. You need to have a reason to get up and work every single day. You're going to face hard and challenging times in any business or any aspect of your life. Like, none of us are immune to the challenges of life, whether it's sickness, whether it's your kid crashes the car, or your house floods, or your whatever might happen or come into your life. We all are going to experience those things. And so you have to have something that's compelling enough to pull you forward through the difficult and challenging times. I've had people reach out to me and say, I'm so impressed with the way that you've handled this transition. And my friends, it's not by luck. It's because I've been so consistent in the daily habits and rituals. It's not the business that I built, or the income that I built, or the real estate portfolio that I've built that is the inspiring part to people that are reaching out to me on social media, or that I see face to face in my everyday life. Those are not the things those are not the things that are important. The thing that is important are the habits and the disciplines and the rituals and the belief you have in yourself, that if you can create those habits, you know that you can succeed through any trial or challenge in your life. And so it wasn't hard for me to pick up and take those next steps. And so if one thing I have you take away as you write down, discover what is your why or what is your reason, is take consistent, disciplined actions on creating habits that will grow yourself and your mindset so that you are capable, so you are capable to take yourself to the next step, no matter how difficult life challenges can be. I want to share one beautiful moment with you, a little bit vulnerable, that I shared with some people recently. Is when I was at the top of my business game. We were in the what's called top 5, top 10 of the company. We had a team of 45,000 people. Like, I was speaking at company events with 15,000 people in an audience, something I never imagined doing, making over $1 million a year, and just it was like the most extraordinary life. I was playing in my rock band still, playing amazing shows with people that I like, bands that I looked up to, like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus and Hawthorne Heights and Powerman 5000, like living what would be called like from the outside looking in, a dream. The income, the family, a home paid off, a business, the recognition, all of those beautiful things. But we came to a really difficult place or point in our marriage where Gabby and I got separated. She was gone back to Salt Lake to her family. I was here with 5 kids. And we started to work on things and change things about ourselves and our lives, and we decided that we wanted to fix things. We wanted to make it work. We didn't want to be handing our kids off in a parking lot and sharing custody, or having father and stepdads and stepmoms involved in their lives. And I get it. Some situations, some of you guys might be in that situation, and everybody has their own situation and their own things that they have to work through. And sometimes it's necessary to get out of toxic relationships. but we were both willing to work on it. And we started working on that. And from the outside looking in, having all of these beautiful things happening, there were times from the outside, you would see us in a beautiful RV driving down to our vacation home on this beautiful family vacation. From the outside looking in on social media, it's like, oh, so lucky, like what a beautiful life. But my friends, there were times on that 7-hour drive when I would be driving up there, the kids and my wife would be in the back, and it was so hard fighting for our marriage for those 2 years. I say 2 years because that's about how long it took before we were like really, really best friends. But during those 2 years, there were times when I just wanted to give up. When I was like, it'd be just so much easier. Like I would just think like, man, if I could just ditch my phone, ditch my credit card, and I'd be like, I have a little bit of cash. If I could just, I wonder if I could just jump out of this motorhome and either die, or number two, I could run and hide into the mountains and I could escape to some other country somehow. And then I'd be like, I don't have any ID. Like I could just get out of here and just disappear from everything. And I would also think like, if I did jump out, would my wife or someone be able to pull the motorhome over and they would be okay? I never want to hurt anybody else like that, but I had those feelings, and I had those feelings for a long time. But I showed up, and an amazing thing about a community, and it will go to one of the questions about who do I need to associate with. I had good friends and good business partners that I could talk to, and that I knew loved me and helped me through those challenging times. Especially, obviously, my parents and my in-laws are the most incredible humans as well. And so it's something I never really would have considered, but those thoughts went through my mind. And so I share that with you because when everything that I talked about in the beginning of this podcast happened, when what seems like my whole world crashed, my whole business of 15 years was just like taken away in a heartbeat, and all the struggles that I shared with that, I never once felt the feelings. I never once felt those feelings of taking my life, or it'd be easier if I just didn't exist. And so I share that with you because how beautiful is it that someone that can have those feelings and have everything in the world that would be outward from the outside looking in, worldly success, but inside feel like that. So I'm extremely proud of myself for being in a place for just consistently working on myself, my self-love, my self-acceptance, not feeling like I'm not good enough, all of those things that we carry throughout our life, just making that a focus, not just building a business or increasing my income or getting to the next level of a business or a company, that I focus more on building myself and building people around me and making it a commitment to read nightly with my wife, to spend uninterrupted time building a relationship with her and taking her on a date every single Thursday. And that's why sometimes you might be like, why is this mission to help remind you that your family is your most important work on earth? There's the story. There's where that shift happened for me, or where I realized I had a bigger and a deeper calling. So I share that with you to help you understand that wherever you're at in your life, there is hope. You can come out on the other side. And it's so important that you surround yourself with people that you can talk to, that you can love on, that you can be with. One of the hardest points in my life was losing someone, not necessarily to suicide, but in a way it was suicide. I don't have brothers. I have two beautiful younger sisters. But my cousin was like my brother. His name's Jake. So maybe this podcast is in memory of Jake. He's a year younger than me. We're like brothers. He's the only human that knows absolutely everything about me. And multiple times throughout his life, he just, had problems with alcohol and just could never kick that habit. And I'd get phone calls from him saying like, he's like, I'm gonna go jump off this cliff and I'm gonna kill myself. And I get on the phone with him, I talk him off of it, and it was always so scary for me. And one time, one particular moment was so scary when he said that, and then his phone, he wouldn't answer his phone; it would go straight to voicemail. And I called his sisters, I called his brothers, I called the sheriff, and I was like, he said he's going to go jump off this cliff and at this waterfall, and I'm just so thankful for sheriffs. Like the sheriff went there and he's like, he's not here. He called me, the sheriff called me back. I don't see anybody here. I don't see his truck. And I was like, I know where he's at. And we had our favorite camping spot from when we were like in our like teenagers almost. And I was like, try this spot. And it's like a dirt road. So I explained to him on the phone and he got there and the sheriff called me later. He's like, he was there. He's like, he was drunk in the front seat of his car, in his truck. He was passed out and he's like, I woke him up and it's like I gave him a, sorry. It's like I gave him a hug. And I asked him if I could help him set up his tent. And my cousin didn't take his life that night. I don't know if he was going to, but like I'm grateful for that sheriff. And I want you to know that you can be that type of person for other people. Uh, just look around you for the people that need, like maybe don't even need help. Just be a friend because you can change someone's life. And later on he ended up passing away from liver damage and cirrhosis. And I didn't get to say goodbye because it was during COVID and I couldn't go into the hospital. Sorry, I wasn't gonna cry on this. I thought I was over all of the pivot stuff that happened, but I didn't know I was going to talk about him on this podcast. But I share that with you because there are people out there that are suffering that they don't think there's a different way. And I want you to know that there is, that you can change your life. You can change your habits, and it's not going to be easy, and your inner demons are going to battle you every single day, but you are capable of overcoming anything that you put your mind to. So I'm going to go through these questions real quick again. Number one, what is your why? What is your reason? For me, I had a big why when I first started my business. It meant so deep to me to make to start out was $10,000 extra dollars. I knew that if I could do that, between that and the $2,000 or $3,000 we paid to the babysitter, I knew that I could have my wife come home from work, and it meant so much to me. Like that was my compelling reason to work through the hard times and know that my wife could, if I could do that, that she could come home from work. And that was important to me, compelling to me, because my whole life I knew I wanted to be a great provider that had a great job and that I wanted a great family, and I wanted to be able to come home and eat dinner with my family and take walks with my family and play games with them and kick soccer balls in the front yard and go for walks. And for the first 5 years of our marriage, we lived separate lives. So if you ask, like, how did you do it? How did you work a 12-hour shift, take care of 3 little baby girls, and then work 3 hours a night on your business 7 days a week? That's why. I was willing to do it for them. And it was so important to me that I could have my family together in the evenings. The same thing happened. What is your why? What is your reason? Why am I working so hard right now to do this podcast, to start writing my book, and to build this next business and company that we're building? Simple. I want to be an example to my kids that when you get knocked down on the ground, if everything is taken away from you, not everything, but if a lot is taken away from you and you feel defeated and you feel like you can't get up, that if you just stand back up and you get to work, that it's not over for you and that you are capable of taking all of your life experiences, the skills you developed, your mindset, your relationships, you can move forward and keep going, that it's not over until it's over. And so I want to be an example to my kids that they saw me get knocked down. They saw me bawling in my room, scared. They can see their dad get up and not give up. Second big reason, I want to see my daughters and my sons get married in that beautiful space that I've dreamed of for over 15 years. And I was patient enough to build a real estate portfolio and the skills to be able to provide for my family. I want that beautiful space to help other people fulfill have their dreams come true, because they can come into that space and be in that space and enjoy those beautiful amenities that we have that are part of that dream home that we've created. That's my reason. I will walk my daughters down the aisle in that backyard, and we'll have beautiful receptions. They're half Bolivian, so there's going to be dance parties till like 2 a.m. It's going to be, we don't need a reception hall. That RV garage is going to be decorated so beautifully with tables and dancing late into the night. And that's part of my why is I'm going to make that happen. This second question. So that's question number one. What is your why? Question number two. What is your IQ level? And it's not what you're thinking. IQ level to me, and I want you to write these things down, is your I quit level. At what level are you going to quit? And for me, my friends, there is no quit in me. I will not quit working on my goals, dreams, and aspirations. I will not continue growing myself. I will not stop growing, working the hardest I can to help grow other people. I will not quit. And I made that decision 14 and a half years ago when I started my first business. I made a decision because throughout my life, I'm that person that's like great at a lot of things, but not a master at anything. Like I could ollie garbage cans, I could backflip a snowboard, I can play the guitar, I can play the bass guitar, I can play the piano a little bit. I'm that guy, jack of all trades, but master of none. Because my whole life, when I was younger, this could be a whole nother episode, but I wanted to be a pro baseball player. I got to be in the Little League World Series. I played on all the all-star teams. I could crank those home runs. I could play all the positions. And I remember I had a dream to play base. I want to be a professional baseball player. I want to be like Dave Justice. At the Little League World Series, I was the fastest base runner. I got this big trophy for it. I was so proud of it. Like I wanted to be Dave Justice, like on the Braves. And I played in all these other leagues, and finally I was like, okay, I better play in high school, and then I want to play in college, and then play in maybe minors and get to the pros. That was my goal, right? And guys, I when I finally went to try for the high school team, I didn't play my freshman and junior year. So I went in, I worked harder than anyone else like I do today. I worked all through winter throwing in the basement of the high school gym with the seniors, with the varsity team. I went to tryouts. I tried my very hardest. And my name was on the roster for the team. And I was so excited. I was like, I'm on my way, taking those steps. And I don't think I've told this story often, or many of you probably have not heard this story, but I go down to the gym or to the locker room, and they're handing out jerseys. And all the jerseys get handed out, and there's not one for me. So right when you come down the stairs, there's an office where the coach's office is. And I go in there, I'm like, hey, where's my jersey's not in the box. And he's just like, oh, sorry, I don't know how your name got on the list. You're not on the team. And my friends, I gave up when that challenging time, when that moment came where I got rejected or I wasn't good enough, I quit. And so I made a decision, and I quit throughout my life in a lot of things. I get really good at something, then I quit and I go try something else, because when you start something new, it's easy, it's exciting, and the beginning steps are pretty easy. But when you have to take that anything to the next level, to the expert or master level, it gets challenging. Throughout my whole life, I would take things to that point and I would quit. And so, my friends, when I started my business 14 and a half years ago, I decided I will not quit when things get hard. I am willing to push through the pain, embrace the struggle, learn and grow through it. So, question number two, what is my IQ level? You need to answer that for yourself. At what level do you quit? So mine, I do not have a quit level. Number three, who do I need to associate with today to grow? I've talked about that throughout this podcast multiple times throughout this episode. You need to surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you, challenge you, love you, support you. There's going to be critics all around you. There's going to be people who try to pull you down, who try to tell you that's not for you. That thing won't ever work. You know that 1 in 5 businesses fail. Or it takes 5 years for a business to be successful, and they're going to give you all the statistics and all of the things. There's going to be those critics everywhere that you go. Isn't it kind of funny, like when someone starts on a health and fitness journey, like you could, you start eating healthier, you start a meal plan, start going to the gym, you go to a party, let's say you go to a barbecue, and they see you grab a brownie or a cookie, and they're always like, aren't you the health and fitness guy? Why are you, I thought you didn't have that type of stuff. I still see it 15 years later. People are always, whether it's judgmental or not, or a critic or not, there's always those little snarky comments. Isn't it funny that for the most part, if you see someone smoking, or they're going to the bar, or they're drinking, or they're playing video games every day, or they sit on the couch and scroll Instagram, that no one's saying snarky comments to them about that? No. So you need to find people who are gonna who are further ahead of you in life that you can learn from, that you can grow from, that you can get wisdom from. Just like when I had my really down moment of just over a month ago, I didn't just wait for everybody. I had people in my inbox, so that you guys know, offer me every single opportunity on the moon. But I specifically sought out people that I would want to take advice from. Don't take advice from somebody that you wouldn't want to live a life like they live. So I strategically sought out those people. So you need to strategically put yourself in position to be around people that are going to uplift you and that you want to live a life like. There's far too many people also that I see that have built $1 million businesses that are broke, that spend everything that they earn, or that are miserable, or that have super poor habits. So surround yourself with people not just that have a business that you want, or a lifestyle that you want, or travel like you want, or have a car like you want, or a rental portfolio like you want. Are they living a life like you want? Do they have a spiritual life like the one that you want to have? Are they, how are they with people? How do they treat people? A great place for you guys to go find people if you're not in a like I say, if you're in a business like with us, like you get to be with me all the time in team calls and trainings and working alongside each other on Zoom. But if that's not the case, you're like, that type of thing's not for me. You like listening to podcasts like this, listen to other podcasts if you don't have those people in your hometown. But in your hometown, there is a place that you can go. Go do service. Go serve in the food kitchen. There's a website called justserve.org. Guys, the people that are taking time to go serve in those places are usually really successful business owners that have spare time on their hand to go out and serve. They're not spending all of their time, all of their hours just trying to provide for their family. And I respect people that do that. I did that for 12 or for 5 years, working 12-hour days. But when I did that, live that life, I didn't have a chance to go out and serve. So if you're looking for people that are those type of people that you want to aspire to be like, go find them in the soup kitchen. Go find them serving somewhere. And like I said, justserve.org is a great place to do that. The fourth question that you can ask yourself. So third question, so you can write these down. Who do I need to associate with today to grow? The fourth question that you need to ask yourself every single day is, what am I willing to sacrifice? And the number one thing that I want to share with you, you're going to have to sacrifice the social acceptance of ignorant people. There's going to be people that don't understand or are ignorant to the fact that you have goals and dreams and that you know that you're capable of going after and achieving those. So you're going to have to sacrifice the social acceptance of those people. There's people all over the internet that don't like the type of work that I do and are out trying to aggressively bash the work that I do. And I'm going to sacrifice the social acceptance of them or people that desire to look like, to listen to that type of person. So what am I willing to sacrifice? For me, give you an idea, I built such a comfortable life over the past 14 and a half years to where I got to the point where I was like, I had the opportunity to work on my business hard during the day, be present with my kids in the afternoon, get them to bed. I would play Call of Duty Warzone, Rebirth Island, for those of you that know what that is, with some of my best friends every night for 2 hours on a schedule, 8:30 to 10:30, communicated obviously with my wife. Get the kids to bed by 8:30, play 8:30 to 10:30. 10:30 every night, I'm massaging my wife's feet. I'm reading a book with her on marriage and relationships or raising kids. And then I'm going to bed at midnight, 12:30. And so I was playing video games. Guys, I've only played that game two times in the past. I've only played that game 2 times in the past almost 5 weeks. So I had to sacrifice some of the hobbies that I enjoy. I've also had to sacrifice sleep. I've stayed up later than normal. I've gotten up about an hour and a half earlier than I was for the past 14 years. So there's sacrifices that you're going to have to make. When I first started my very first business, I also had to sacrifice playing softball. You heard me talk about baseball. I had to sacrifice playing softball. I played 2 games a week. A game is an hour, hour and a half. I had to get there 45 minutes early. I had to pack my kids into their little car seats and the strollers and get there early and stretch and play. It took like 3 hours a night to do that. So in order to get them in bed on time and work my business, I had to sacrifice playing playing softball on the city league. So you're going to have to make sacrifices if you're striving to build a business. So ask yourself that question every day. What am I willing to sacrifice? It could be mindlessly scrolling social media, your favorite Netflix show, video games. It could be sports. It could be serving on the PTO to 2 years to build your business, and then you can go out and do all the service that you want. But sometimes there's short-term sacrifices that have to be made. The fifth one, the final one to end this episode out, is who's counting on me to make this happen? Who's counting on me to make this happen? I remember a mentor of mine talking about someone he had in his business, and he had this habit of, as he helped someone set goals for their life, they would print them out kind of like a vision or dream board and put it on the fridge. And this particular man, his goal was to take his family to Disney World and to get his daughter a pony. And one day he came to one of my mentors and he said, "Hey," he's like, I think I'm going to give up. Like, I think I'm going to quit. Like, I can't do this anymore." And my mentor told me, he's like, "Don't tell me you're going to quit." He's like, "Tonight when you get home from your job," it's like, "I want you to walk your wife and your kids into the kitchen, take them in front of that fridge and show them and look at that picture of Disney World, and look at that picture of that pony. And I want you to tell them that you don't have what it takes and you're not going to make that happen for them, that it's not possible for you." He said, telling your family that you're not capable or it's not possible for you to achieve that goal is going to be far harder than it will ever be to build that business. And so it's a good example of that, of who's counting on you to make it happen. For me, my kids are counting on me to make it happen. I shared this example already in this episode, but they're going to watch their dad get knocked down, and they're going to watch him get up and be bold and confident in moving forward in his mission to help remind you that your family is your most important work on earth, help you feel better, and help you earn more income for your family. They're going to watch that happen, and they watch that happen and unfold every single day. Who else is counting on me to make it happen? Because I have to ask myself these questions every day, just like I expect you to. My parents are counting on me making this happen. Like, I promised my dad that they would never, ever have to worry about income, or if they have enough to live all the way into their retirement, enjoy their life. I'm going to help make that happen because I made that promise. So my parents are counting on me. My wife and kids are counting on me. Every single person that has trusted in me and come on a journey with me is counting on me to be a positive role model and teach and mentor and train them how to build their business. They're counting on me. There's people I haven't even met yet. They're going to come across this podcast. They're going to come across my book that I have planned on having done next year. They're counting on me, showing up with the best energy possibly that I can to add value to their life and to help them grow and help them know that they're capable of creating better habits, feeling better, making their family a top priority. There's people I haven't even met yet that are counting on me. My friends, so that fifth question I want you to ask yourself is, who is counting on me to grow? And to wrap this episode up today, guys, I just want to remind you that you are capable. You have everything inside of you. You're an absolute miracle. Like, just the fact that you are here on this earth. This earth is spinning at like 1,000 miles an hour. I think that's what it is. And you're on this ball that's in the atmosphere, it's in the world, in the universe. It's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You're just here. And you're here. Whether you believe in God or you believe in some big event that happened in the past, it's still all an absolute miracle that through all the thousands of years or however many years it is, that you're here today on this earth. Guys, stop sleepwalking through your life. Create some habits and learn to love yourself and know that you're capable of achieving anything that you believe in, that comes to your mind. I believe that if God puts a vision, a goal, a dream on your life, that you're capable of doing it. You're capable of doing that because, like I said, you're an absolute miracle. It's an absolute miracle that you're here on this earth. And I need you to remember that every single day. I need you to remember that as you open up and you share your story with others, you share your struggles, your ups and your downs, that your story can be a key that unlocks someone else's prison. So don't waste your life here on earth. Use it to help serve and bless other people. Thank you for joining us on this first episode of Season 2, and we hope that you enjoyed the content we shared with you today. We're here to remind you that your family is your most important work on earth, help you feel better, and learn how to earn more income for your family. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review and share it with a friend.